years as the basketball voice of the Ouachita Baptist Tigers. So definitely, and of course Charlie Schaaf, who's now at Southeastern Oklahoma State, and he was the head coach of Ouachita at the time. So we had a lot of good times with the Tigers. And Drew Brent, for quite a while, was my color man on the broadcast. So we're very familiar with the Ouachita program. Jumping the opening tip, Michael Morris for the Ouachita Baptist Tigers, and it looks like Southeast Oklahoma and the Savage Storm will control things. Ivan Johnson into the front court. He'll give it off to Stephen Coley as he gets a bounce pass inside. The basketball tipped out of bounds, and it looks like the last touch was by Ouachita, so the Savage Storm will have the inbound pass. 19:49 left to go in the first half, just 11 seconds into this ball game. The inbound throw coming as they get it stripped away. Michael Morris coming away with the basketball. He'll work it up front to Austin Mitchell. Mitchell back over to Morris. He'll work it back over to Nigel Ramsey. Ramsey outside to Julian Leday. Around the horn to Austin Mitchell, down to the left wing, a dribble inside, a long three coming. Shots on the way it in. Look at that. Austin Mitchell lights it up for Ouachita and gives the Tigers a 3-0 lead.
Well, I tried to give him a warning before the game. You have to watch Austin Mitchell, and that's exactly what happened. He got a spot on the outside, found an opening, took it, and now it's a 3-point lead for Ouachita.
Into the front court, here comes the Savage Storm. A missed shot from Stephen Coley and a rebound from Ouachita. Back the other direction, Nigel Ramsey. He'll kick it back outside to Leday as he goes up for the shot. He draws a foul on the way up, or does he? No, they're going to say a charge, and Southeastern Oklahoma will get to work it the other way.
Well, it's a good break for Southeastern Oklahoma. Get behind 5-0 just like that, about a minute, a few seconds in, so good break for Southeastern Oklahoma.
18:56 left to go in the first half, and here comes Southeastern Oklahoma State into the front court. It's going to be Ivan Johnson working the perimeter. He'll give it back out to Marcel. Marcel back over to Zach Downing. His shot for two's on the way in, and that's the Savage Storm's first bucket of the ball game. 3-2 our score. 18:33 left to go in the first half, and into the front court, here's Julian Leday for the Tigers.
And we're seeing both teams right now try to utilize that size. A lot of length on both ends of the court. We see a lot of them trying to get inside. Both teams made some pretty big plays from their big men from the inside already.
Austin Mitchell out of the left wing gets the basketball stripped away. Coming up with it, it's going to be Ivan Johnson. Johnson through the air finds Steve Coley. His shot for three off the yard, no good. The rebound pulled down by Ouachita's Nigel Ramsey. Ramsey back over to Austin Mitchell. Here's a three-pointer on the way it in. And the Tigers lead it 6-2.
And Mitchell very dangerous on the outside as it's drained 2 for 2 from downtown already. We're only about 2.5 minutes left to go, 2.5 minutes in this broadcast.
Zach Downing around the edge of the yard, brings it back up front. Long two on the way it in, make that a three. He had both feet outside the arc. 6-5 our score, 17:30 left to go in the first half.
Both playmakers showing up today already. Zach Downing and Austin Mitchell, two big players for the GAC, is showing up for their teams early on.
Leday into the front court, gives it off to Austin Mitchell. Mitchell back up front, finds Nigel Ramsey. Ramsey between the circles, kicks it over to the left wing to Julian Leday. Down low, 2-point shot, hangs on the rim, it won't fall. Downing with the rebound. He'll work it back up front to the open teammate. 2-point shots on the way it in for the Savage Storm. 7-6 our score, Southeastern Oklahoma State taking a 1-point lead.
And both teams doing a good job passing the ball around, trying to find the open man inside on the lanes. We'll probably expect to see that pretty fast-paced game. Both teams doing a good job with the ball movement.
Leday into the front court, works it over to Nigel Ramsey. Ramsey up and under for the two. His shot on the way it in. 8-7 our score. Tigers lead it by 1. Out of the right wing, a dribble inside, long three coming. And that one falls short and won't go for Southeastern Oklahoma State.
That shot was just, he tried that fading away, falling back from a long wedge out. Probably not going to make that shot. Not often you see those big forwards get out in long range like that.
16:24 left to go in the first half. 8-7 our score. Glad to have you along with us on the Ouachita Tiger Net, or on the GAC Tiger or GAC Network. Old habits, now hard doing a Ouachita game again. Sorry to Jason in the truck who's having a heart attack right now. Here's a 2-point shot on the way it in. 10-7 our score. I may just let Blake take over.
Hey, those flashbacks happen to the best of us.
Back the other direction. 2-point shot for Ivan Johnson won't go. And we'll see what happens here.
Both teams playing pretty physical right now. We kind of expected that. A lot of size on the court for both teams. And I got to tell you, this is about the best matchup we're going to see as far as height versus height. Both teams have a bunch of big guys, and they like to attack the rim.
Timeout on the floor, 15:57 left to go in the first half. Our score, Ouachita 10, Southeastern Oklahoma State 7. We're back after this break on the GAC Network. Welcome back. Bartlesville, Oklahoma is where we are tonight. Ouachita Baptist leading Southeastern Oklahoma State 10-7. Grant Merrill, Blake Smith along with you. I'm kind of hurt that the voice of the Mule Riders is passing out water bottles and didn't bring us any, Blake Smith.
Oh, wow. They just went right by us. Didn't even think twice, but...
See if we bring Dan Gregory any drinks tomorrow. 15:57, our score 10-7. The Ouachita Baptist Tigers leading it by 3. Let's see what happens here. Coach Nutt marking out the orders from the sideline as the inbound pass comes into Chris Russell, and here's a blocked shot. Nigel Ramsey coming up with it. Coast to coast, the Tigers put it up and in. Emmanuel Legulu is the senior from Keller, Texas, and he makes it a 12-7 ball game.
That was just good defense right there. We talked about both the length. He went up in the trees, got swatted back. Good awareness by Ouachita to take that ball coast to coast.
Russell from the left wing brings it back up front to Europe King. Back over to Russell. Up front, 2-point shot, draws iron, won't fall for Antonio Worthy. And here come the Tigers after a bucket by the Savage Storm. 12-9 our score. 15-11 left to go in the first half.
There we saw number 44, Antonio Worthy, use that big frame of him, all 6'10 of him, to get his own offensive rebound and put it back up.
From the right wing, a long three for Austin Mitchell of the Tigers, and it's 15-9. A 6-point lead for the Tigers. Ivan Johnson into the front court, kicks it back over to Russell. Back to Ivan Johnson. Back up top to Ural King. King almost gets it knocked away. Now Ouachita goes with it. Michael Morris into the front court, fires the 2, it's up and in. And it's 17-9. Ouachita's defense just too much for the Savage Storm to overcome right now.
Right now the Savage Storm are trying to penetrate inside, although it seems like every time they try to get something going, they get knocked away, blocked. Ouachita's defense just swarming right now.
Into the front court. Here come the Savage Storm. Zach Downing up in the paint. Fires the 2, and it's on the way it in. 17-11 our score. Ouachita Baptist with delay crossing the time stripe. He'll bring it back over to Austin Mitchell. Long threes, in and out, no good. And now the basketball's out of bounds with the last touch, it looks like, by Southeastern Oklahoma State.
Well, just a couple of shooting percentages right now. Ouachita, though, still early, very early in this game, shooting 70%. Kind of hard to get beat when you're shooting that well. However, the Savage Storm shooting 50% as well, so both teams finding their mark whenever they take the ball up.
Out to the right wing. Nigel Ramsey will bring it around the perimeter. He'll click it back over to Julian DeLay. Now we've got a whistle and a foul. Foul's going to be on Zach Downing.
If you're Ouachita, you really don't want him in foul trouble early. He's one of your impact players, and they're really going to need him the further on in this game with about halfway to go into the first half.
Into the front court. Here come the Tigers. Nigel Ramsey with the basketball. He sets up the shot. It was looking to be a dunk for Michael Morris, but he lost the ball off of his fingertips. And the Savage Storm will take it the other direction. Now the basketball dragged out of bounds by the Tigers. And Zach Downing will have the throw in. He'll move it into Carlos Robinson, who's now in the ball game. Now to the right wing, long threes on the way it in. Look at that. That's Zach Downing to make it a three-point game. Ouachita leading 17-14.
Both Downing and Mitchell, both guys to watch out for. Both on fire from long range. Downing with his first three. Mitchell 2 from 3 from the field already.
Mitchell to Wingulu. He'll bring it back over to Michael Morris. In the paint, two-point shot. Draws iron. It won't fall. Coming up with the rebound, Stephen Coldy.
That shot got a little block there on the last shot by the Tigers.
Robinson back around the edge of the arc. Brings it over to Zach Downing. Down low. Two-point shot. Hangs on the rim. Won't fall for Antonio Worthy. He's fouled as he tries to put up the stick back.
And there you see the advantage of being 6'10", as he's just able to outreach everyone there and is able to put it back in, power through, and still be able to draw contact for a three-point play.
My gosh. Worthy's like a skyscraper out there.
Those guys out there aren't small either. They're about 6'4", 6'5", and he just towers over everybody.
Here's a free throw on the way it in. I'm afraid if I hit Worthy with my car and totaled the car, he'd be unscathed.
The worst comes to worst, he'll probably just pick the car up and run away with it. I mean, he is a big boy.
We are tied at 17, 12:45 left to go in the first half. Ouachita leading Southeastern, tied with Southeastern Oklahoma State. Into the front court. It's going to be Nick Ross, who's now in the ball game. Ross down in the paint. Kicks it out to the left wing, closely guarded. He'll swing it around the edge of the arc to Nigel Ramsey. Back to Ross it goes. Back to Michael Morris. Down low, two-point shots blocked.
And you see Morris going in right there. And a couple times Ouachita might have had a chance on the inside lane, but Big Worthy, he takes up a lot of space down there, and that alone would maybe think a couple players think about twice before driving in there with him.
Stephen Coley, I believe, is the one that fouled. Yeah, it's going to be his first. The first free throw from Michael Morris is on the way it in. Next free throw's up and coming. Shots up on the way, off the iron, no good. Rebound. Savage Storm, Dami Sapara in the ball game. And he'll bring it into the front court. Sapara at the top of the key, takes it around the edge of the arc. He'll work it to Carlos Robinson. Now a three-pointer. On the way it in from long range, Stephen Coley nails it. And the Savage Storm now leads at 20-18.
And Coley forward, being able to find some room on the outside, drains it. Airballed it last time he went up, this time able to find the mark.
Nick Ross with the basketball between the circles for the Tigers. He'll kick it out to the right wing to Nigel Ramsey. Ramsey in the paint, kicks it back over to Ross. A long three off the back iron, no good. Pulling down the rebound, Zach Downing. Downing works it over to Carlos Robinson. Robinson down in the paint. Finds the open man in Worthy. Two-point shots on the way it in.
I think the most scary part about the 6'10", 290-pounder is he's a freshman. They're going to be seeing a lot of Worthy over the next couple of years in the GAC.
22-18 our score. Back up top, Nigel Ramsey. Moves forward, double team. He'll try to kick it out to the left wing. Ouachita keeps the basketball. Wow, look at that three-pointer. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Austin Mitchell. And it's 22-21. The Savage Storm's lead is 1.
That's going to put Mitchell 4 or 5 from the three-point line tonight, as he's just been on fire with 12 points already.
Robinson from the right wing finds Sapara. Now he'll work it outside to Stephen Coley. Down to the paint. Worthy fires a 2. Inch missing, but Sapara tips it in, and it's 24-21. Southeastern Oklahoma State leading it by 3 into the front court. Here's Austin Mitchell for the Tigers. He'll work it to Nigel Ramsey out of the right wing. Ramsey back over to Austin Mitchell. His shot for 3. Off the rim, no good. Carlos Robinson with the basketball. Robinson out of the right wing. He'll work working to Sapara, down to the baseline. Here's Coley. Now to the left corner. Here's a long three on the way it in from Carlos Robinson. 10:04 left to go.
Robinson, not exactly the biggest guy on the court, as he's able to knock that long range down, and actually he's at all of 5'7", 160 pounds. That looks like if that's soaking wet. Both teams, however, doing a really good job on the turnover department. Ouachita with 5 turnovers right now, and Southeastern Oklahoma State with 2, and that's why we got ourselves a pretty good ball game. But I got to tell you, I'm really impressed with Carlos Robinson, 5'7", 160. Not often you see a height like that with range.
27-21 our score, 10:04 left to go in the first half of play. Brad Merrill, Blake Smith along with you tonight from the Bruin Sports Arena in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Very nice town, by the way. I like it here.
I like it too. The atmosphere is pretty nice. It's kind of that, it's a bigger town, but it's kind of got that small town feel to it.
I wish I could go down the street and see if Phillips 66 and be talked into having some mercy on our souls. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow morning before the game starts. Up front, 2-point shots blocked as Colt Fasson tries the 2-pointer. It won't go. He'll get the rebound. Rebound and stick back is no good. Back the other direction. Here comes Chris Russell.
And there we see Worthy on the inside again. His presence is able to knock it down. I got to tell you, he's one of those guys, if you dive in, you're going to think real hard about taking that shot.
Coley out on the top of the key. We'll work it back over to Chris Russell. Back to Carlos Robinson on the right wing. He'll give it back over to Antonio Worthy. Inside, 2-point shot. Falls short and won't go for Savara. 27-21 our score. 9 minutes left to play, and we've got a timeout on the floor. We'll take one with them. You're watching the GAC Sports Network. Well, it has been said many times, Blake Smith, that nothing gets Arkansans and Oklahomans on their feet like a free T-shirt, and as you can see, that is no more evident than it is tonight.
Well, you know, we've seen a lot of exciting basketball, a lot of exciting plays get the fans up on their feet, and I got to tell you, as soon as that box comes out, they see those T-shirts, the entire stadium just erupts. Everybody loves a free T-shirt.
Absolutely, 27-21. Look at this play right here. Let's see what may or may not have gone wrong in it earlier. I know our officials are watching the broadcast as well. 9:07 left to play here. 27-21 our score.
Looked like a standard air ball to me. I'm not sure what the officials were looking at. Maybe trying to get a time right, but
inbound pass is going to come from Nick Faison, or Colt Faison, I'm sorry. Conway native. He'll have to throw in. I have no idea what they were looking at.
You have me on that one. They were maybe about the time, but that was about the only thing I saw. It looked like a clear air ball to me.
Maybe they were talking to the audience down at Buffalo Wild Wings. Up at the top of the key, Nick Ross will swing it around the edge of the arc, bringing it back over to Taylor Smith, who's now in the ball game. Back to Ross on the right wing. He'll dribble inside. Underhanded shots off the rim and no good. A rebound to the stick back in as well. 27-23 our score. 8:40 left to play in the first half.
This game not disappointing either so far. Every game we've had and the tournament has been pretty exciting within a few points, and this game's not disappointing either.
Coley back down to the left wing. Finds Chris Russell. Down low, 2-point shot. Falls through. Do they count the basket? We do have a foul. And I believe we're going to have the +1 opportunity here. This is 29-27. Southeastern Oklahoma State increasing their lead to 6. They'll try to increase it to 7 right here, Mr. Smith.
Well, it looks like we're pretty even so far as rebounds. 10 rebounds apiece. Ouachita doing a good job, 5-5 on offense and defense. However, Southeastern Oklahoma State only 3 offensive rebounds.
Free throws missing and no good. Coming up with the basketball was Nick Ross. Ross takes it to the top of the key. He'll work it back outside to Eric Brower. Now to the near side, here's Nick Ross again.
One interesting thing is that both teams are shooting very well so far, with Ouachita at 45%. The Savage Storm shooting at 60% from the field. So both teams being very smart with their shot selection and showing up.
They say Ross travels with the basketball, so Southeastern Oklahoma State will get to move it the other direction. And here comes the Savage Storm, but not before a timeout on the field, or floor. Field, it's almost like football. I thought I would have that out of my system by now. 7:54 left to go in the first half. 29-23 our score, a timeout on the floor, and we'll just keep it right here.
Well, both teams doing very well, being very conservative with the ball. Only a grand total of 5 turnovers between the two teams, so they're playing very smart basketball. And not just a ton of fouls, both shooting 50% from the line anyway. This team pretty even. As we were talking about before, this game not exactly going crazy in any one direction. Both teams trying to play inside. Both teams rebounding fairly well. And only a few points separate them, only a 6-point game with plenty of time left to go in the first half.
7:54 left to go in this first half, as you mentioned, and a 6-point lead for Southeastern Oklahoma State. Of course, earlier in the day, we had plenty of action with 3 other games that took place. Of course, UAM and Southwestern Oklahoma State both advanced as UAM beats Harding 58-54. Southwestern Oklahoma State upsets Henderson State, winning 81-60.
I think that was a big surprise of the tournament so far. Here, even just in the first round, Henderson State probably the favorite in that game, and Southwestern doing a good job showing up and taking care of business.
Winner of this ball game takes on Arkansas Tech Saturday at 2:30. 29-23 our score. Out of the top of the key, see you later, Houston. Stephen Coley fires a long 3. His shot in and out, no good. As the longtime SID of Southern Arkansas University drops by, Houston Taylor.
Both teams playing pretty well right now. Good steal from Ouachita. It's number 3, Taylor Smith, but both teams playing pretty patient basketball. Watching, trying to find some room on the inside, and that leads to some points.
Nick Ross to David Day, who's now in the ball game. His shot for 2 is off the rim and no good. Ivan Johnson coming up with the basketball for the Savage Storm, and now we've got a carrying violation called on Southeastern Oklahoma State.
Not a lot really separating these two teams from the 3-point line. 4-6 is Ouachita, Southeastern Oklahoma. 4-6 as well. Excuse me, 4 of 8 for Ouachita, 4-6 for Oklahoma. And I can tell you, that's more or less one of these games where it could go either way, and just 1 or 2 runs is going to be the deciding factor.
Out at the top of the key, Julian Leday gives it off to an open teammate. 3-pointer missing from Taylor Smith. Rebound, Southeastern Oklahoma State. Russell into the front court. He'll work it off the right wing. Top of the key, long 3s hit it out, no good for Coley. And we've got a 29-23 lead for Southeastern Oklahoma State. 6:25 left to go in the first half.
Ouachita playing pretty good. Both of the impact players I mentioned before the start of the game doing pretty well. Both leading their team at total points. Downing for Southeastern Oklahoma 10, and Mitchell with 12 for Ouachita.
Cold facing with an easy bucket and into the front court. Here comes Southeastern Oklahoma State. 2-point shot, missing it, no good. 31-25 our score. Facing back the other direction. In the paint. It'll be David Day losing the basketball as Ivan Johnson comes up with it. He'll work it over to Zach Downing. Downing to Coley. Back over to the open Chris Russell.
Both teams have very good on-ball hand movement as their hands are right there on the basketball, it seems like, with everything. There's a little scuffle down there on the inside. Very physical play by both teams so far.
Around the edge of the yard, Downing works into the corner. 2-point shot marred by a foul. Year-old King will draw the violation here. Watch this on the screen here. You'll see exactly how that foul happened, Blake.
Well, if you take a look down low, both the big men were kind of ramming at each other.
5:14 left to go in at the free throw line. Year-old King will take his first one. It's off the back iron, no good. Number of players coming into the ball game, including for Ouachita, Emmanuel Igulu and Austin Mitchell.
You know, I think the referees are actually doing a pretty good job. Both teams play pretty physical basketball and letting them kind of play it out, letting them play their style and bang around on the inside. And you really like to see two teams, especially that play so physical, really be able to play their game.
Next free throw's up and coming. Shots on the way it in. 5:14 left to play here. 32-25 our score. Into the front court, here come the Tigers. Nigel Ramsey brings it back out to Aaron Brewer. They're working around to Ramsey again in the paint. 2-point shot. An underhanded one's on the way in, and he draws the foul on the way up.
Good athletic play there to get the ability to power through the contact, to be able to shoot it up through and get it off the lucky bounce, and that's going to have a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play.
We'll see what the +1 attempt yields here. Shots on the way it in.
Ouachita doing a good job of battling back inside, not really rushing. They're quick, but not exactly in a hurry, being selective with their shots. And we're seeing how both teams are shooting fairly well right now.
Here's a long three off the rim and no good. Back the other direction. Here comes Eric Brower for Ouachita. He'll work it to the top of the key. Around the edge of the yard. He'll bring it over to Nigel Ramsey. Bounce pass forward to Faison. He fires from two. It's off the rim, no good. Rebound, Tigers. And Guler tried to put it back up. Scooping it away from him is Ivan Johnson. He'll work it coast to coast. Now a near collision as Ouachita forces a steal, and the Tigers move the other direction. 4:07 left to go in the first half.
Ouachita doing a good job there. It had a big chance for Southeastern Oklahoma. However, Ouachita able to recover and not suffer really any damage from the turnover.
Out at the top of the key. Nigel Ramsey tried to go up for a shot. It was blocked. We got a timeout taken by Dennis Nutt and the Ouachita Baptist Tigers. We'll keep it right here. And Blake, what do you think's being said in these timeouts as the Savage Storm leading by 4?
Well, you know, both teams are playing pretty even right now. They're 14-16. Ouachita with 14 points in the paint. Southeastern with 16. So basically both coaches are telling each other, play your game. No team is exactly out of it. Both teams have been able to play pretty much evenly. We expected an even game, but this is pretty much what we're seeing. Just calm down, don't commit any turnovers, and play your game, and we'll come out ahead.
32-28 our score. Glad to have you along with us across the GAC Sports Network. We've got every game now until Sunday.
And I know I'm excited about it. We're excited about it to think this is only the first round. These games are actually going to get better, and I almost find that hard to believe.
3:48 left to play, 32-28 our score. Of course, Drew Brand will be hanging out with us in some of the ball games. He'll be here for some of them. 3:48 left to go in a 4-point lead for Southeastern Oklahoma State.
I kind of figure we'll see Drew every time. He's not exactly talking around, hanging around with some of the goggle girls, of course.
Hey, I'd hang out with some of the goggle girls too. So Drew's not the only one. They're the best part of the Bulldog program.
Well, that's one way to get recruits in for sure.
There you go. 32-28 our score, a 4-point lead for the Savage Storm, and we'll see what Ouachita will do here. Inbound pass worked inside to Austin Mitchell, his shot blocked, and Ivan Johnson will work it the other direction. Out to the left wing, a long threes on the way and in. James Harris.
And that was set up from a block by the big man, Antonio Worthy. Worthy, I just can't get over how big and how long this dude is. He towers over everybody.
Up and under, here's a two-point shot, falling short, drawing iron, rebounded to stick back. Good for Emmanuel Agulu.
Antonio Worthy with 4 blocks so far in this half alone.
35 to 30 our score. Up front, two-point shot off the rim, no good. Coming up with the basketball, Michael Morris for the Tigers. He'll work it the other direction to Nigel Ramsey. In the paint, two-point shots on the way and in for Michael Morris.
And that's exactly what Ouachita wants to do, be able to find some room in the paint. They're a very proficient shooting team.
We'll take a break as we've got a timeout on the floor. Dennis Nutt wants to talk things over with the Tigers. Southeastern Oklahoma State 35, Ouachita Baptist 32. Back after this on the GAC Sports Network.
The NCAA Division II student-athlete experience goes beyond the classrooms and playing fields. It means a commitment to service and community, helping organizations like the Make-A-Wish Foundation by raising money to help grant the wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions. Kids like Jacob.
Some student-athletes gave of their time and their energy to raise the money.
It was fun to meet Jeff Gordon.
NCAA Division II, training student-athletes for lifelong achievement.
Welcome back, 35-32 our score. 3-point lead for Southeastern Oklahoma State. Out at the top of the key, it's Ivan Johnson for the Savage Storm. He'll work it across the paint over to the right wing. Now the basketball knocked loose on the floor. Everybody going after it. Up and front. Oh man, he horse-collared him from the back. An intentional foul call. I hope we have an instant replay on this. It's almost worth it. Watch this, Blake.
Yeah, I tell you that.
They move forward. Here comes the foul. And all that's missing here, hold on. Well, trying to get it. All that's missing here is the folding chair. He brought him down from the back, and they're, after a quick break, going to probably shoot free throws for an intentional foul. 35-32, our score. Southeastern Oklahoma State leading it by 3, 2:10 left to go in the first half.
Well, they don't even let you have that tackle in football anymore, and that's in full pad. So probably not going to let you get away with it in basketball either. And I got to tell you, that was a heck of a foul.
Yeah, let's do this again. Let's do this again and show you the instant replay of what exactly happened. And we're going to have that here in just a second. Our instant replay department doing a great job. Look at that. Wow.
You know, it even looks more painful at full speed, and I got to tell you, that just got to not feel good.
Can we get another angle? Whoa, there you go. One more time. 35-32. Our score, 2 minutes and 10 seconds out of the half. And look, his shirt almost came off.
He almost got his entire jersey ripped off there.
He almost disrobed there in the front court. Or was almost forcibly disrobed. Now, we're not addicted to watching this horse collar foul. We're actually showing the instant replay for the officials who are watching it across the court.
Of course, you know, it doesn't really hurt either that you don't really see plays that, I guess, violent in basketball from time to time. And, of course, being, you know, he did help him up after all, so no really malice intent, just trying to make a play on defense, and sometimes momentum gets away from you.
35-32 our score. Coach Dennis Nutt is talking things over with the officials. And shooting the free throws for the intentional foul is Zach Downing. First free throws on the way in.
Downing a big part with 11. That'll be his 11th point already to go in the game, shooting 4 from 6 from the field, 2 or 3 from beyond the arc as well. Big-time player for the Savage Storm.
I haven't seen a throwdown like that since my last family reunion. 2:10 left to play in this one. 37-32 our score. Southeastern Oklahoma State leading it by 5.
That last throw probably would have made the WWE proud.
Probably so. Where's Stone Cold Steve Austin and a couple of those guys? 30, you know, wrestling is pretty big here in Oklahoma at the high school and college level. Maybe it was just a prep move for one of those.
Exactly. It's just merely instinct kicking in.
Out at the right wing, it's going to be Earl King for Southeastern Oklahoma State. Basketball tips out of bounds. 2:03 left to go in the half. 37-32 our score.
This game pretty exciting so far. Only 5 points separate the two teams. And I got to tell you, we talked about it being a physical game, but we didn't quite know just exactly how physical.
Coming up at halftime, I'll be interviewing Will Pruitt, the commissioner of the Great American Conference. He doesn't know that yet, but he will be. And now we've got a missed shot with 1:53 left to go in the half.
I'm sure he'll be just as surprised about anyone else. Great interview, though, and I got to tell you, he has a heck of a conference set up here.
37-32. Our score, 1:53 left to play here. Inbound pass is going to come from the Tigers. And here comes Ouachita. Now the basketball almost slapped away as Eric Brower move it to the near side to Austin Mitchell. Mitchell with a 2-pointer. It hangs on the rim and won't fall. The rebound to the stick back. Back up and in from Michael Morris.
Morris doing a good job there, being aware of the basketball and able to go up and get the miss by Mitchell, who's been shooting pretty well so far for himself.
Up front. Here come the Savage Storm as Ivan Johnson works into Russell. Now the basketball is knocked loose. Ouachita comes up with it. Nigel Ramsey brings it back over to the left wing. He'll swing it back around to Nigel again.
Ouachita just trying to get a breather and slow down the pace a little bit. Look for an open shot. And a heck of a spin move by number 32, Nigel Ramsey, to bring this within 1 point.
And now we've got a 1-point ball game. 37-36 our score. Into the front court. Here they come.
Ouachita on a little run right here, looking to come back from this deficit, actually take a lead. Looks like they're going to try to hold for the last shot with about 18 seconds left to go. Ouachita just being slowly but surely climbing back in this.
Into the front court. Here comes Mitchell, 9 seconds left. They'll hold off for the last shot here. Ramsey down low, and now a player control foul called. And looks like the Savage Storm will have 4.1 seconds to do as they wish with the basketball.
Not a lot of time, but a couple of timeouts left, so you may see a quick inbound and a timeout. And you have maybe just enough time if you're get it across the half-court line for a timeout and then a quick play, but we'll see what they do.
Here comes the Storm. Long three blocked at the buzzer. And as we go to the halftime locker room, our score, Southeastern Oklahoma State 37, Ouachita Baptist 36. We'll take a break. Here in about 7 minutes or so, we'll check in with the commissioner of the Great American Conference, Will Pruitt, and see if we'll drop by the broadcast, and we'll talk to him here in just a bit. You're watching the GAC Sports Network. Back after this. Grant Merrill, Blake Smith along with you. 37-36 our score. Southeastern Oklahoma with a 1-point lead over Ouachita Baptist. And Blake, the theme in both locker rooms, what was it at halftime?
Well, right now the scary part is both teams are pretty much identical to each other. So as I mentioned before, we just have to keep playing our game and watch the turnovers. Both teams shooting fairly well, 44% for Ouachita, 50% for Southeastern Oklahoma State. Pretty much everything is even. The big difference in the game, 15 bench points for the Savage Storm.
2-point shots off the rim and no good for Ouachita. 37-36 our score. And I'm still trying to figure out what we're doing after the games tonight, because we got to come see scenic Bartlesville. I tried to get our radio guy over here to give us some tips, and wherever we're going, Jason Moyer of JBM Productions is buying. So
that's what we heard. I heard you talking about a steak, and I got to say that sounds pretty good in my book. And more expensive the better for Moyer, I believe.
Absolutely. Out at the free throw line. Maybe Will Pruitt's got all the big money. Maybe he'll buy.
Well, he is in charge of the GAC. I'm sure he could have a couple of connections there anyway.
Maybe he can pay for our night of frivolous fun and adventure in Bartlesville. I don't know if those things go hand in hand. We're tied at 37 after the free throw at OBU and Southeastern Oklahoma State. Here comes a Savage Storm across the time stripe. Ivan Johnson gets his pocket picked. Look at that. Do we have a replay on that as Michael Morris runs into the front court and jams it?
That's a good way to get noticed right there, as he just shook about the entire arena, erupted after that dunk.
Look at that. Wow. And like as they used to say on NBA, he jams it in.
I got to tell you, that was a heck of a dunk by there. He even had a little bit of contact there and just willed it in. My goodness.
That was the jam on NBA jams where you press the down and A button at the same time. you remember the
I
old
remember
school
that, the old
game?
Sega Genesis. That's right.
Absolutely. Back the other direction. Here comes Carlos Robinson for the Savage Storm. He'll work it over to an open teammate. That's Zach Downing. Downing back outside to Stephen Coley. Coley around the edge of the arc to Robinson. Up front, 2-pointers on the way in for Urold King. 39 all, 19:06 left to go in the ball game. And here comes Ouachita.
It's almost scary how similar these two teams are from lineup to lineup. Both teams, and that was a heck of a three.
Austin Mitchell from long range.
Mitchell just been on fire pretty much the entire game. That's going to make it 5 of 7 from beyond the arc and 15 points on the game so far.
42-39 our score. Long three for the Savage Storm won't go. Everybody after the rebound.
It looks like that ball is going to stay with the Savage Storm, although I think Ouachita might have had a case there.
Inbound pass coming from the Savage Storm of Southeastern Oklahoma State.
I got to tell you, not often do you see the 5'7" guy on the inbound pass. That's probably will see that more. Yeah, that was interesting.
Inbound pass coming into Julian Leday. He'll work it into the front court. Back over to Austin Mitchell. Up front, 2-pointers on the way in for Michael Morris. 44-39 our score.
Both teams doing a good job of getting inside the paint and trying to establish a presence.
Foul called as Stephen Coley had the basketball and went down on his knees. Here's your foul right here as we get the instant replay.
I guess you could call it, but I'm not real sure if he just didn't.
I'm not sure what was more entertaining, the foul or the guy putting on the show in the front row.
I guess I missed that one, but there's no telling what some of these fans are up to behind us.
Into the front court, here comes Julian Leday. He'll take it into the paint. 2-point shots on the way, through the rim, and good for Michael Morris. 46-39 our score.
That was a heck of an assist there by Mitchell to get it inside to Morris. He looked for the shot, drew the defenders up, and then is able to dish down for the easy two.
Long threes, in and out, no good for Chris Russell. 17:46 left to play here. 46-39 our score. OBU with a 7-point lead.
OBU having a pretty good luck on a pretty good run here the past couple of plays. They've been able to pull ahead of this Savage Storm team.
Leday in three-point range. He nails one from long range, but it's a two-point shot. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 17:25 left to go in the first half. Or left to go in the ball game, I'm sorry. We'll take a quick break with them and be back right after this. You're watching the GAC Sports Network. Welcome back to the Bruin Sports Arena here in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. 48-39 our score. Ouachita Baptist leading Southeastern Oklahoma State. Brad Barrel, Blake Smith along with you tonight.
And coming back out of that, actually, Ouachita's on a 9-0 run to open this half of play.
Stephen Coley brings it back down to Carlos Robinson, and now the basketball almost stripped away by Austin Mitchell of the Tigers. It's been one of the faster-paced ball games we've seen tonight. Chris Russell out at the right wing, dribbles inside, two-point shot, hangs on the rim, it won't fall. Julian Leday will take it the other direction. A long three on the way, off the rim, no good for Austin Mitchell, and now Leday will come up with it, slow the pace of things.
And if you're Ouachita, that's kind of what you have to do. You have the lead right now, as we mentioned, 9-0 run. So far, you just kind of slow it down, keeping control, and just extend on that lead.
In the paint, two-point shot. It's on the way in, Ed count the basket. He draws the foul on the way up.
Well, make that an 11-0 run for the Tigers.
Let's see what's going to happen here. We know somebody's going to the line for free throws.
It's number 32. Nigel Ramsey, who's been having a pretty solid game himself.
First free throws up and coming. Shots on the way it in.
Well, it seems like right now Ouachita just can't miss.
51-39 our score. Back the other direction. Here comes Chris Russell.
It's been over 2.5 minutes since Savage Storm have been able to put a basket in, and that run will continue.
Worthy shot missing, and Leday goes back the other direction. He'll kick it out to the left wing. Three-pointer coming, and it's on the way it in. Nigel Ramsey from long range.
This Ouachita team has caught fire here over the last 3 minutes, and right now they have just looked really tough to beat.
Should we just project Ouachita the winner and head for the house?
Well, you know, there's still a lot of time left, but this run has just been insane by this Ouachita Baptist Tiger team, who just came roaring out of the second half.
We certainly wouldn't do that, but you know, 54-39 our score. The Tigers leading it. We'll take a break with them. 15:41 left to go in the ball game. You're watching the GAC Sports Network.
I love learning.
I believe in service. I am full of passion.
I embody sportsmanship.
I trust in my resourcefulness.
I like balance.
That's why I chose.
I chose Division II.
Welcome back to Bartlesville, Oklahoma. 54-39 our score, with 15:41 left to go in the ball game. Grant Merrill, Blake Smith along with you. Thank you so much for making us a part of your evening. I want to say hello to my buddy Chris Babb back at Arkadelphia, the former sports information director at Ouachita Baptist and now the athletic director of the Arkadelphia School District. After my comment about just calling the game and going home, he claims I've now jinxed Ouachita. So.
Well, you know, we talked about the commentator curse earlier, so we'll see what happens there.
Going to pull a Congressman Steve Womack.
You may be owing somebody else a state dinner after tonight.
Savage Storm will win 103-70 tonight. Well, we'll see what happens. Into the front court, here comes Southeastern Oklahoma State. James Harris out at the top of the key. He'll work it around the edge of the arc to Zach Downing. Downing over to Chris Russell on the left wing. 15:21 left to play here. Into the paint they go. 2-point shot on the way and in from Antonio Worthy.
That was a heck of a move by number 14 for Southeastern Oklahoma, Chris Russell. They'll draw the defense in and give it up to the big guy to just able to lay it in there. And tell you what, he doesn't have to travel far to the rim.
He just barrels through. He's like an F5 tornado. He just barrels through there and gets everything out of his way. 2-point shot missing and no good for the Ouachita Baptist Tigers. And now we'll see what the Savage Storm does here.
I tell you, Worthy, going back to him, he's 290 pounds of just big. And he's a freshman, so the scary part is he could be even bigger in the next couple of years.
Into the front court. Here comes the Savage Storm and Zach Downing. Turnaround jumpers on the way and in. Look at that.
That was, well, that was just really pretty is what that was. Downing did a heck of a job. He made that look easy, and that's something I don't think I could do if you paid me.
54-43 our score. Out to the right wing. Julian Leday. Long threes on the way and in. Look at that. Austin Mitchell nails that one for his 18th point of the ball game.
Well, he was like, well, you know, you like that turnaround so much. How about this long-range three, and made that look pretty.
Now to the right wing for the Savage Storm. It's James Harris. Up front, 2-point shots on the way and in for Zach Downing. Ouachita, 52% from the field tonight, 53% from beyond the three-point arc, and 57% from the free throw line. 13:44 left to go in the ball game. Long threes on the way in and out, no good for Austin Mitchell again. Back the other direction.
Well, going back to that three-point percentage, all of Ouachita's come from Mitchell, 6 of 9, and
James Harris nails one from long range.
South James back one of his own is Harris, and Southeastern trying to get something going and try to get back into this ball game.
Out of the top of the arc, here's a bullet pass inside. 2-point shots, missing and no good. Antonio Worthy with the rebound. He'll work it the other direction. Down low, 2-pointers on the way in for Stephen Coleman.
Well, Ouachita not quite going away. Bring this game back into a 7-point ball game. Ouachita, you figure you're going to have to try to slow it down and try to make some smart plays and try to avoid making the costly turnovers.
Into the paint, 2-point shots on the way it in from Michael Morris. He gets that one, 59-50 our score. Ouachita trying to keep the lead here.
Both teams scarily close, as we mentioned before. Both shooting around 50% from the line. Both shooting around 50% from the three-point line. The big difference, Ouachita with 32 points in the paint.
Mitchell for three.
24.
His shot missing and no good. Rebound, Southeastern Oklahoma. Back the other direction. Here comes the Savage Storm and Russell. They get it down low to Antonio Worthy, and now we've got a whistle and a foul.
I tell you, sometimes you have a disadvantage being as big as he is. You're going to get a lot of that contact, just a little bump, and you'll get that charging foul, and it'll be a turnover. Ouachita will regain possession.
59-50 our score, 12-14 left to go in the ball game. Inbounds it comes to Julian Leday. He'll work it to the top of the key. 12 minutes left to play here. From the right wing. Now moving back over to Nigel Ramsey. Now the basketball knocked away. Here comes the Storm into the front court from the right wing. Carlos for three. His shot won't go. Ramsey back the other direction. Gives off to Michael Morris. To the right wing, Mitchell. His shot on the way. In and out, no good.
Mitchell's been fairly close on a lot of those shots, even the misses. are just banging on the inside of the rim. He's been very close and having a very, very good night, even though he already has 18 points.
Into the front court. From the right wing, a three-pointer over the rim and no good for Zach Downing. And now a whistle and a foul.
I tell you, the Savage Storm not going away quietly as well. They come storming back. Make this within a single-digit ball game. They're going to take a timeout.
We'll take one with them. 11. Oh, no, we won't. 11-19 left to go in the ball game.
Both teams doing fairly well. You know, you're Ouachita, you got to tell your guys you have to calm down and quit being, you know, they seem to be playing a little bit too much in a hurry, trying to make that big play. Mitchell been trying to hit it from long range, haven't quite been able to find the last couple of times. Savage Storm just going to have to try to keep doing what they're doing, force the turnovers, make the big plays, and try to claw their way back in it with just over about 11 minutes left to go in the game.
11-19 left to play in the ball game. 59-50 our score here. Thank all of you that are watching tonight. The thousands of you that have tuned in across the day today.
Well, you know, you don't expect anything less from GAC basketball tournament action. You wouldn't mind watching thousands, as you mentioned, at home joining us. They picked a good week to tune in.
Absolutely. 11-19 left to play here as we await both of the ball clubs to wrap it up in their timeout stances. 59-50 our score. Let's see what happens here. At the free throw line, it'll be Stephen Coley. First free throw's up and coming. Shots up, shots on the way. It's good.
And that's going to put Coley at about 6 points tonight. The free throw percentage for both teams. Southeastern Oklahoma State with a slight lead with 66%. Made Ouachita 57.
We'll have another one coming. 59-52 our score. 11-19 left to go here. Out of the backcourt, here come the Tigers and Nigel Ramsey. Ramsey over to Julian Leday. Back up top to Austin Mitchell. Now to Ramsey. Nigel out, taking his time between the keys.
Tigers doing a good job trying to find some room on the outside. Mitchell's shot's going to go up and no good.
Long three-pointers off the rim and no good. 59-52 our score.
Ouachita right now just trying to play a slow, controlled tempo, take as much time off of that clock as they can and hold back the Storm, who've been making a comeback over the past few minutes.
Up at the top of the key, Austin Mitchell in three-point range. He'll kick it back over to Nigel Ramsey. 2-point shot, falls short, won't go, rebounded, a stick back on the way in. Finally tipping it in was Julian Leday.
Leday making a heck of an athletic play to go inside on the paint and pick up that ball and put it back in.
From the right wing, Zach Downing down low, finds Worthy. From the left wing, a three-pointers off the iron, no good for Chris Russell. And coming up with the basketball, Leday for the Tigers. And now as he tries a bullet pass, it's intercepted. Russell loses control of the basketball. Ouachita drags it out of bounds.
Both teams having a little trouble with the steal, getting turnovers. About 6 and 11 for both teams. Ouachita with 6 turnovers. Savage Storm with 11.
10 minutes left to go in this one. 61-52 our score. A long shot over the rim and no good. And Michael Morris will come up with the basketball. 9:57 to play. Into the front court. Here come the Tigers. And it'll be Julian Leday kicking it back over to Austin Mitchell.
Fun matchup to watch so far for both teams. Mitchell and Downing. Mitchell for the Tigers, Downing for the Storm. Both guys are kind of going at each other, and both guys are big playmakers for their respective teams.
Back out from the left wing. Here comes the Storm and James Harris. 9:24 left to play. Harris out in three-point range. 2-point shots on the way off the iron, no good. Rebound Ouachita.
We'll give Harris some credit there. He was outsized by a couple inches, but good footwork to find the open shot that we're not able to go.
And a three-pointer in and out, no good from Mitchell. Back the other direction. Here's Russell. Back to the near side. They'll give it off to Downing, and now a whistle and another foul away from the basketball. And this is going to be on David Day.
Take a look at the replay.
Watch right here and see what happens. You can see he reached around him there.
Not quite able to do that. You'll get called with that more times than not.
63-52 our score, 8:56 left to play. Inbound pass coming. They'll work it inside to Russell, who's open from the left wing. He'll dribble in. 2-point shot for Worthy's on the way in.
Kind of hard to block that big guy shot.
63-54 our score. It's kind of like the honey badger. He just takes what he wants.
I don't think there's too many people out there that could probably stop him from taking what he wanted.
Leday, top of the key, works it back over to Nigel Ramsey. Ramsey on the right side of the paint, kicks it back up top to the open David Day. They'll bring it back over to Austin Mitchell. An outlet pass to the left wing, a long three's on the way it in. Look at that. Emmanuel Agulu will get it.
That was a heck of a three-point there by Ouachita. They needed that to kind of stop this savage storm, actually, as they've been heating up here late in the second half.
And now here come the Tigers into the front court. Mitchell coast to coast, fires the two and collects the foul on the way up. Look at that.
And now he's going to have a chance for a three-point play the old-fashioned way as he's able to power through the contact and pick up the two.
All right, let's take a break. 7:54 left to play here. 67-54. Ouachita leading Southeastern Oklahoma State. We're back after this on the GAC Sports Network. Our score. The Bruins don't lead it, but the Ouachita Baptist Tigers do. As we're at the Bruins Sports Arena in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Southeastern Oklahoma trying to play catch-up here. Brad Merrill playing Smith along with him. It's the inaugural Great American Conference Basketball Tournament. This is the inaugural television webcast.
Well, I got to tell you, we picked a pretty good tournament to kick it off with. A lot of good games so far. And we're just on the first half of the men's side. Tomorrow, all a great women GAC action as well.
All right, here we go. Let's see what Austin Mitchell can do from the free throw line. 7:54 left to go here in this ball game. First free throws up on the way, good.
And that's going to give Mitchell 21 points on the day as he's been shooting pretty well so far. And a big reason why this Tiger team has the lead.
Into the front court. Here comes Chris Russell. He'll bring it out to the right wing and Ivan Johnson. Johnson down low, gives off to Coley, and now we've got another whistle, another foul. We've been doing nearly 10 hours of basketball today.
Well, it seems like time's been flying by. Hard to believe it's been a full 10 hours, but you know what they say, time flies when you're having fun. And, hey, when you're in an arena like this, you have some pretty good basketball. It's kind of hard not to have fun.
We'll sleep good over at the Hilton Garden Inn tonight.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. Especially after that big old meal Jason Moore is going to pay for us.
And I just realized I told most of the area law enforcement where Drew Brent's staying tonight.
That may be for the best.
His days on the run may be numbered. Next free throws on the way and in. 68-55 our score. And Ouachita will take it the other direction. Here comes Nigel Ramsey back over to Julian Leday out of the backcourt.
Ouachita doing a pretty good job of just playing to keep away and trying to drain seconds off of that clock. They have a pretty nice lead right now and look to keep that way for as long as they can.
Back to the near side, it's going to be Leday. Driving through traffic, he'll fire at two. It's on the way it in, 70-55 our score.
Wasn't sure he's going to get that, but the ball decided to take a nice friendly roll in. About the first time that Ram's been pretty cooperative so far today.
7 minutes left to play here, out on the right wing. Here's the Storm and Chris Russell. And now the basketball tipped out of bounds. Earl King with the last touch for Southeastern Oklahoma, so the Tigers will move it the other direction.
Exactly what you didn't want to happen if you're Southeastern Oklahoma at this point. Every possession you have to come away with something, and turnovers are going to basically put a dagger in the heart at this point.
Ramsey out of the backcourt. He'll work it at the top of the arc. 6:37 left to play. Out of the right wing. Going to be Austin Mitchell controlling the perimeter. Now a two-pointer on the way it in for Michael Morris.
Michael Morris and Austin Mitchell, I can tell you, they're a heck of a 1-2 punch for this Tiger team, and we'll probably be seeing a lot of those guys if current strength hold throughout the tournament.
Back up top. Chris Russell. He'll bring it down low. 2-point shot missing. Ouachita will have it here.
Taking their time across the half-court line, as we mentioned. Just wanting to try to take off some time and try to set up a good play and just really put this game away.
Up front, 2-pointers on the way in. And just like that, Ouachita draws a foul on the way up. Emmanuel Agulu will go to the free throw line and try to get the conventional +1. I want to say hello to my buddy Ben Crozier watching over at Fayetteville tonight. He says, as our guest at halftime said, we got to go by Murphy Steakhouse here in Bartlesville and get the hot hamburger.
Hot hamburger, that sounds pretty good. Tell you, it's been a while since I've had a really good hamburger. And I've even come from Las Vegas, which is pretty known for a couple places with good burgers.
Yeah, Whataburger being the #1 best burger. I'll probably start a debate later on.
Whataburger or CJ's, that's always a big debate around town.
Free throws on the way and in, 75-55 our score. Back on the near side. Russell brings it back up front. Long threes, falls short, it won't go. And now we've got a timeout taken by Coach Nutt and the Ouachita Baptist Tigers. 5:34 left to go in this ball game. 75-55 our score.
And you know, we saw right there on the Tiger team, you're up by 20 points, and they're still diving on the floor for loose balls by Julian Leday. Good job by him. You know, that's something you really got to credit Coach Nutt for being able to motivate his players, get them working hard, diving for loose balls, especially when you're up by this large of a margin.
75-55 our score, 5:34 left to play in the ball game. 75-55 our score. And ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for bursting into laughter, but Drew Brett, our color commentator, is singing in our ear the Dirt Road Anthem by Jason Aldean, and I'm just going to tell you, it's downright disturbing.
And, well, let's just be glad you can't actually hear him on air right now, otherwise we might lose a couple of those thousand listeners.
He was actually singing it in the stylings of Cleveland from Family Guy. So that was what made it a little disturbing. So.
I tell you, something not quite right about that boy.
Julian Leday will throw it inside to the Ouachita Baptist Tigers. He'll spread the offense, put it back in, out of the backcourt. Here comes Austin Mitchell. Mitchell brings it back over to Leday. And he'll bring it back out to Nigel Ramsey. 5:20 left to go in the ballgame. 75-55, Ouachita with a 20-point lead. Back up top, Ramsey
Ouachita doing a good job of moving it along the perimeter and just kind of picking their shot right now.
Mitchell back outside, finds Ramsey again. 5 minutes to play. We had a shot taken, but the ref waved it off, and we got a foul call. This is going to be on Savage Storm, and Stephen Coley is third. That'll send Nigel Ramsey to the free throw line here.
Ramsey going to have to try to get two back the hard way, as the shot was originally good, but the ref did wave it off and not able to get the continuation, but does make the first one.
76-55 our score. Next free throw is up and coming. Shots on the way, in and out, no good. Coley will move it the other direction. And bring it back over to Chris Russell. Zach Downing takes it down on the left side of the paint. His shot for two, off the rim, no good. Rebounded a stick back on the way it in for Gerald King.
That's a good job by Southeastern there to be able to get a break. And now we're going to see them try to apply the pressure, create a couple turnovers. And just like that, they have the ball back.
Southeastern Oklahoma will take it the other direction. 3-pointers on the way it in. Wow, Chris Russell shoots it from long range. And now Coach Kelly Green wants to talk things over with the Savage Storm. We'll take a break with them. 4:28 left to go in the ball game. Ouachita 76, Southeastern Oklahoma 59. Back after this. Our score. Ouachita Baptist with a 17-point lead over Southeastern Oklahoma State.
Yeah, to tell you, both teams playing pretty well. If you just look at the percentages, both teams are pretty even. However, Ouachita just able to, that was a heck of a move by number 23, Michael Morris.
He puts a shot up at the end, 78-59 our score. From the left wing. Here's a pass inside. 2-point up and under shot on the way and good for Ural King. 78-61 our score down. Could the Savage Storm be trying to mount a comeback?
They may not be able to mount the full comeback in about 4 minutes. However, they are going to make Ouachita work every minute that they're on the court.
They will try to narrow the deficit, that's for sure. 78-61 our score. Long pass to the near side, and Leday has it for the Tigers. Don't forget tomorrow, the ladies are in the house. We got women's action all day long. And here's a 2-point shot from Michael Morris. It's on the way in.
Yeah, I tell you, Drew Brent's been talking about that ever since we got here, waiting to see some of the GAC ladies, some of the best-looking lady basketball players, not only in the conference, but in the country, coming soon.
80-61 our score. 2:55 left to go in this one. I didn't think Drew was coming here looking for a date, but apparently you know other information.
Well, I did have to ride in the truck with him for about 4 hours, so we got to be pretty close.
Long threes over the rim and no good. And Ouachita will move the other direction. Austin Mitchell outside to Nigel Ramsey. And now back the other direction. Here comes Southeastern Oklahoma. Player goes to the ground, and they're going to call a blocking foul on Julian Leday. Savage Storm's going to the free throw line.
That was a heck of a job by King there to get the spin on the basketball and takes a friendly bounce. He's going to have a chance to go to the line to make this a three-point play.
Now we've got a timeout on the floor. 2:22 left to play. Ouachita Baptist leading at 80-63 over Southeastern Oklahoma. We'll be back in. back for just a second. Officials looking over the last play here. You can see it on the screen. Slow motion of the blocking foul here. And you can see it running back. So there you go. 2:22 left to go in this one. 80-63 our score. We'll see what we can do out of it.
Eastern able to kind of cut into that deficit a little bit, make it a 17-point ball game. We're down 21. Maybe a little too late, but you do have to like the effort of them fighting the entire way.
At the free throw line, it's going to be Urold King. First free throws up and coming. Ouachita, 52% from the field tonight. These free throws off the rim and no good. Nigel Ramsey came up with the basketball, and now he'll move into the front court.
Both teams actually shooting fairly well from the free throw line. Ouachita at 63%. Savage Storm able to hit 70% of their free throws so far.
Down low, 2-point shots off the rim and no good. Coming up with the basketball, here's Andre Marone. And now the basketball is tipped out of bounds. And we have reached 10 hours of basketball here.
I got to tell you, and that's only day one. Exciting. It's been pretty exciting, and you know it's hard to believe it, but it'll actually get better as the tournament goes on.
Here's a long three off the rim, no good. Ouachita will move the other direction. Into the front court. Here come the Tigers. Minute 30 left to play. Ouachita will advance, and they will play Arkansas Tech on Saturday at 2:30.
That should be a pretty good game. Tech almost, the 1 seed almost got upset by the 8 seed. And that was a heck of a dunk by number 23, Michael Morris.
Michael Morris got him another one. 1 minute left to go. 82-63 our score. And coming up, Blake Smith will have the post-game interview with Coach Nutt. Up front. 2-point shot, missing and no good. Ouachita will move it the other direction. Now we've got a quick foul. 46 seconds left to go in this ball game.
And you know, Tech probably had to take a wake-up call, almost getting upsetted by the 8th seed here in just the game before this one. So it should be a pretty interesting matchup, the Tigers versus the Wonder Boys. I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to that game.
I'm sure we will have a great audience for that one from the River Valley and from Arkadelphia. I know that we do have a group in Cone Bottoms Hall watching us tomorrow at Ouachita Baptist. They're scheduled to put us on the big screen. Next free throw, in and out, no good. 44.9 seconds left to go in this ball game. 83-63 our score. And now we can crown Ouachita the winner.
Feel pretty comfortable saying that, although Savage Storm still.
Well, they're still calling it like we have 3 seconds left to go in the ball game. All right, let's see what happens here. Velsko Lukic will fire the first free throw. It's on the way and in.
And that was a good job by Lukic there, drain the first one. You know, Savage Storm, they're down. They're more than likely not going to win in all intents and purposes, but they're still fighting hard, and you really have to like that. Coach Kelly Green, maybe not quite able to get the W, but still, you know, you have to credit this team for playing, and we almost got to play catch there for a second.
Yeah, it was coming toward all of this high-dollar equipment. That's insured.
Hopefully, anyway.
83-65 our score. I want to say hi to Thomas Sullinger in Lubbock, Texas. He's out in the middle of nowhere watching us tonight. Much rather be in Bartlesville than Lubbock.
That's only a usual part of the JBM crew anyway. Anytime we go about anywhere.
2-point shots on the way in for David Day. And Ouachita's going to play tag. Saturday at 2:30. The other game will feature Harding and Henderson State. Ouachita. Hold on. Our UAM in Southwestern Oklahoma State. We've been doing 10 hours of basketball. It's all running together here. Okay, Saturday at 12 noon, it's UAM at Southwestern Oklahoma State, and then 2:30 it'll be Arkansas Tech and Ouachita.
I tell you, all four of those games sound like, they will be quite entertaining if they can match anything. You know, it's kind of hard. The first day you really set the bar, and I think it's going to be hard to top that.
Long three at the 2-second mark won't go, and Ouachita wins the ball game. 85-65, our final score as the Tigers win it tonight over Southeastern Oklahoma State. All right, have a good night. We appreciate you being with us as the Ouachita Baptist Tigers win. We will see you tomorrow at 12 noon as Ouachita Baptist takes on UAM and women's beginning at noon. Good night, everybody.